Good evening everybody and welcome back to the 20th episode of Quickfire Crypto, where we keep you informed on a bi-daily basis. If you're interested in keeping up to date on all things crypto, then subscribe to the channel. We put out a new video every 12 hours. So today's story is, well, we're back to FTX again, and the fallout from that. So this article I found on the Bitcoin section in CNBC, and it's an article written by Kate Rooney, titled "FTX users appear to be cashing out of bankrupt crypto exchange through a Bahamas loophole." So let's dive in. Analysis by Argus found unusual trading patterns that suggest desperate customers are relying on FTX users in the Bahamas to withdraw their money. Some have been buying NFTs that appear to be owned by Bahamian citizens at astronomical prices. In one case, a digital collectible that traded for $9 3 weeks ago sold for $10 million. This NFT activity is highly irregular at a macro level, with the NFT market overall is declining, both in value and in volume, and in this specific case when there is limited trading on other FTX markets, says Owen Rappaport, the co-founder and CEO of Argus, a blockchain analytics company. So, let's start then. Some FTX users appear to have found a way to move money off the exchange through a backdoor in the Bahamas. Analysis by data firm Argus found unusual trading patterns over the past 5 days as FTX was gating customer withdrawals. Most irregularities had to do with digital collectibles known as NFTs. The patterns suggest desperate customers returning to FTX users in the Bahamas for help, according to Argus. The now bankrupt global cryptocurrency exchange is only allowing withdrawals in the Bahamas after halting FTX liquidations everywhere else in the world. The once $32 billion firm, partially based in Nassau, said in a tweet it had to facilitate Bahamian withdrawals to comply with local regulations. High net worth users are paying astronomical prices for NFTs on FTX at a time when the broader crypto and digital collectible market has nosedived. In one case, a collectible that traded near $9 3 weeks ago sold for $10 million on Friday. Another NFT that was similarly priced a month ago sold for nearly $9 million. So what's going on here is everybody on FTX, all the users, cannot access their funds, obviously, because of if you've watched my recent videos, you'll know why. FTX has gone completely bust, and so there is no funds for people to withdraw. It's as simple as that. Now, what looks like to be happening is that if you have a Bahamian resident, because FTX International is based there, or shall we say partially based there, they have to, under the local law, process Bahamian residents' withdrawals. They have to do it. So what's happening is the Bahamian residents, or some of them, have taken advantage of this, and they have said to, I've seen a couple of posts on Reddit actually of them asking if anybody wants to withdraw. So you've got the big traders that have got maybe $8 or $9, $10 million in their account that they can no longer access, and now making contact with the Bahamian resident and saying, I will transfer my balance on FTX over to you, and then you withdraw it, because FTX is forced to process this withdrawal, and then you can take a cut and then just give me the rest back. It's the next best thing they can hope for, the big trader, because otherwise they won't get a penny. They'll get nothing. Even if they could charge an astronomical price, they could say, well, I'll charge 50%, 60% of this $10 million for you to go through me, and they'll have to do it because it's either that or nothing. They'll get absolutely nothing otherwise. So it carries on saying, this NFT activity is highly irregular at a macro level when the NFT market overall is declining, both in value and in volume, and in this specific case when there is limited trading on other FTX markets, said Owen Rappaport, the co-founder and CEO of Argus, a blockchain analytics company that specializes in insider trading. Argus said this type of trading is likely an attempt by FTX users to access money in any way they can. One likely possibility, according to Rappaport, is that traders have an agreement with the Bahamian users to pay some percentage of the assets and in return receive them once they've been successfully withdrawn from FTX. And actually, since my last video on FTX, which was yesterday, the money that had been the crypto, at least, that was in the FTX's accounts has now been, well, it's supposedly now been hacked, and so I believe $400 million, which was almost all that was left, because they didn't have the $5 billion in withdrawal requests they didn't have the money to process that. They had about $400 million that they handed over to the bankruptcy commission in the US, and that's now gone missing as well. And as you know, in crypto, once a transaction's gone through, it's irreversible. There's no refunds. There's no recourse. That's it. It's gone. And so $400 million have been transferred on the Ethereum network last night or yesterday evening, and that's now gone. I believe some of it there's been an attempt to cash some of it out on the Kraken exchange I saw on Twitter, and they have actually identified that individual. So I don't know what's going to go up in there. I don't know if there's going to be arrests or what. So yeah, just a little bit of background there for you. These traders are visible on the blockchain, which acts as a public ledger for tracking the movement of money. While anyone can see where the money moves, identities are still anonymous. Argus could not say for certain who these customers were, and that FTX appeared to have shut down the irregular trading on Friday. There are still bids or offers to buy these now pricey collectibles, but no buy orders have been executed since. So it looks like FTX have stepped in here and stopped this activity from continuing. FTX and its founder, SBF, did not immediately respond to CNBC's request for comment. Sam Bankman-Fried has now gone completely silent on Twitter. Nobody's heard anything. There's been all kinds of reports that he's trying to evade arrest, and that he was on a plane from the Bahamas to, I've heard reports of him going to Paraguay, trying to get to Dubai, because these two places don't have any extradition agreement with the US, because he's worried that maybe he's going to get arrested and tried and sent to the US for this. But it's all speculation, it's all rumours. The Bahamian local government there, I've also seen a tweet from them saying that they had him not under arrest, but sort of detained under sort of house arrest in a hotel in the Bahamas as well. So I tend to believe them more than the other rumours that seem to be going around. Some Twitter users have called out similar irregularities this week. A popular crypto podcast host who goes by Kobe, anyone in this space knows who Kobe is, was among the first to suggest users were purchasing NFTs that are put up for sale by Bahamian users. He pointed to one wallet withdrawing $21 million worth of the cryptocurrency Tether, which is a US dollar token, from FTX, and sending it to an address that appeared to be based in the Bahamas. And he put out a tweet, an earlier tweet, saying, "Can anybody explain what's happening with this Ethereum address?" And he posted the address on the Etherscan link. And then after following, realised that apparently this is a Bahamas account withdrawing other people's funds for them. They are likely bypassing the internal balance transfers block by selling NFTs. Oh, I see. So I see what's going on now. So instead of normally you used to be able to transfer your internal balance from one FTX to another account. But FTX has blocked that, and so they're doing it by selling NFTs instead. Bahamas account creates an NFT. The stuck user buys the NFT with their full balance. I see. So they're finding a way around to try and transfer the full balance and get the money to the Bahamian resident, so the Bahamian resident can then withdraw the USD, and then they can make up the difference, with the other party, the trader, after. FTX has reportedly seen mysterious outflows after filing for bankruptcy protection. Reuters reported early Saturday that between $1 billion and $2 billion in customer funds had vanished from the exchange, citing two people familiar with the matter. Meanwhile, data firm Elliptic estimates that $473 million has been moved off of FTX in a suspected hack. Now, the problem why I don't believe this whole hack, from an outsider, that someone outside has hacked the FTX remaining balance, is because these exchanges, FTX, Binance, Kraken, they all have multi-sig. They all have multi-sig on their big balances. So if you want to transfer any money out of the exchange's big balances or cold storage, you need at least 2 or even 3 people, or 2 of 3 it usually is, to sign a transaction. So to hack it from the outside is not impossible, but it's almost impossible. And so I would argue that this is probably an inside job, and that the employees of FTX are the only people that know the private keys for these funds, and so they've probably become quite desperate in the end, realised the game's up, and we've got access to $470 million, why don't we just move it to another address where we hold the private keys. It's not in FTX's control anymore, and so outside of the bankruptcy, the people that are in charge of executing the bankruptcy, which is I believe is the US government. And so to enrich themselves basically, but we'll see. The more will come out over the coming days. The company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on Friday after a week of turmoil. The exchange, run by 30-year-old SBF, has been accused of misusing customer funds and was close to being bought by its biggest rival after a liquidity crisis. And this takes us to my last video, which is where all exchanges now, or all the big ones, are all putting out a proof of reserve status, so you can check basically how much money. Now, the other thing with Binance is that I've seen since is that Binance has proved that they have around half of the money that they're supposed to have. So a lot of other people are saying, well, what about the Binance token, BNB? And what have you done with that liquidity? So where as people have bought the BNB token and exchanged that for USD or for whatever else it is that they wanted to sell, where's that money? Because we haven't got any information as to where that's gone. So, and that's billions. I think that's like, we're talking like 20 or 30 billion. So that would be even bigger than FTX if there was something wrong here. Hopefully there isn't, because there's a lot of people use Binance. But my advice would be to everybody, do not keep your stash or your crypto on centralized exchanges. You can't keep it on decentralized exchanges because it's just a simple transfer using the liquidity pools. But on centralized exchanges you can. Just, if you want to buy crypto, or if you want to exchange your crypto for another token, or whatever it is that you want to buy or sell, do the exchange, do the transfer, and get it withdrawn onto a cold storage, or at the very least to a hot wallet where you control the keys, so that if the exchange goes down, you don't go down with it. It's a real lesson. I mean, it's an old lesson in crypto. Not your keys, not your crypto, or not your coins. It's an old adage that we all say, but it's just convenient to keep money on exchanges because it's easy to get in and out and to withdraw back to your bank and buy and sell and do what you need to do. But in reality, it's high risk to do that. So please don't do it, and take responsibility for your own money. Be your own bank. That's what I've got for you today. There'll be another video coming in 12 hours. Remember, everybody, to subscribe to the channel. Join our team. I'll keep you updated on all things crypto every 12 hours. Smash the like button if you feel you got value from this video. And like I say, I'll see you all in 12 hours.